Lately, as the conversation surrounding YouTube and all of its changes has had lots of people saying that they want to leave YouTube, to abscond from it, to find somewhere else to post our videos because it's become such a terrible environment to host the content of creators on YouTube. Lots of people are always bringing up, where will we go? How can you replace YouTube? What is the next YouTube? You know, like, do these other sites provide enough that we can, you know, succeed there? And the funny thing about this question is, I don't think we need a new YouTube. In fact, I'm not sure YouTube worked or has ever worked. And I think that might be the problem. I think that might be why YouTube is doing the things they're doing, is that it didn't work. Now, YouTube has always insisted that they were operating at a loss, that YouTube was not profitable. And this always seems to just get, like, thrown under the rug when people talk about YouTube. Like, they're always like, oh, they say it operated at a loss, you know? But, like, if that's true, if YouTube's been operating at a loss all this time, then how long can they sustain that? Like, how even have they sustained it so far? I think people, like, wondering that is why this statistic is so often, like, not regarded, is that it, like, sounds insane, but when you think about it from, like, an investment standpoint, it was a big investment idea that doesn't seem to have worked. And the way YouTube's changing, it seems like it's in response to the fact that it didn't work. It's in response to the fact that they need a way to make money, and they obviously tried working with creators for a time, and that didn't pan out. Because if you go back through YouTube history, like, in the early days, it was just people uploading whatever. Occasionally a video went viral, someone might make some money off of it, but it was mostly just a place to watch videos, you know, and YouTube was making money off of it through the ads that they were playing with the videos. But as time went on, it stopped being, like, feasible for them to make money off the ads. Because, first of all, ads on the internet have become increasingly worthless over time, to the point that now they are basically worthless. Like, if you go back to the early days of advertising on the internet, there were, like, webcomics that could succeed off of just advertising, because the ads were worth a lot more money. Having, like, a banner ad that somebody clicked on, you got paid a lot more than you would from, like, clicking on a YouTube ad now. But they weren't successful. The ads didn't work, so they lost value until the point where people couldn't just start up a webcomic and have a few banner ads and make a career out of that, you know? And you see how, like, a lot of that old style of internet where people used to have their own websites and have that stuff on the sidebars and stuff like that is mostly dead. And the websites that still rely on ads have to use increasingly horrible ad structures, like just blocking your whole page with an ad that you have to click on some kind of shit to get past, because, like, that's the only kind of ad that is effective enough to even be worth money for people, you know, to be worth it for the advertiser to place the ad there. So, like, running a website based on ads is just not really probable without making it something that people are going to fucking hate, which is then in turn going to make it so nobody goes to your website, which in turn devalues the ads even further. So just advertising on the internet is a sinking ship, you know, and it always has been. It has been a continuous, you know, downfall. Like, all of you who watch my videos, have you ever bought something based on an ad? Have you ever clicked on one of the ads you saw at the start of one of my videos? Even if it was relevant to the content or relevant to you, you probably just find them fucking annoying. I know I do, you know, and I've never been willing to watch ads on YouTube. I've had an ad blocker the whole fucking time I've been on there, you know? If I like a guy's channel enough, I'll fucking patron him. Like, I cannot tolerate ads, you know? So I completely understand why the ad structure is falling apart. And, you know, there are people who figured out, even back in the day, that if they wanted to continue to have success on the internet, they were going to have to branch away from ads. You look at something like Penny Arcade, which became a whole fucking empire because they did not just rely on ads. They built all kinds of other shit into, you know, what they were doing. And, like, it's baffling to think that a webcomic, what was originally known as just a webcomic, could become the empire that it is today, but it's because it didn't remain just a webcomic, you know, relying on ads. I don't think there's like any webcomics still alive that can do that. If any webcomic that's still surviving is surviving on Patreon now, you know, or if they've been around for a long time, maybe merch sales. But, like, you can't just make your own website and support it on ads anymore. And you can't make your own YouTube channel and support it on ads anymore either. And as time has gone on and advertisers don't want to work with YouTube because, A, a lot of the shit that gets posted is of questionable legality. And we can argue all day that, you know, fair use and all that shit, but there's lots of stuff that is illegally posted to YouTube and makes money. Like, all the time, I go on YouTube to listen to full albums of artists that are not uploaded by the artist and have 20 fucking ad breaks in them. And I mean, I watch it with ad blocker on, but like, I'll see sometimes people have, you know, like they have 30,000 views or 300,000 views or 3 million views on an illegally uploaded video of an album. Of course advertisers don't want to be associated with that, and of course companies are going to be pushing YouTube to get that shit off their fucking platform, and it's really hard to police all of it because it's happening literally constantly. Every time an album comes out, you know, especially a major album, like, do you know how many people have probably tried to upload, like, Jay-Z's 444 to YouTube, and because they're so, you know, strident about the copyright shit with his company, you know, it is not on there. So, like, I understand why companies have done this. It has had a very unfortunate effect on YouTubers, and we all want YouTube to, like, help us with it because we see ourselves as we are the lifeblood of YouTube. We're why people are on the website. But for, you know, like, YouTube's really, like, the amount that they make off of a really big YouTuber is so much greater than what they make off of a small one that why would they take care of us, you know? Like, as long as there's enough of the big ones, the rest of us don't really matter. And I completely understand YouTube seeing it that way. It's an expenditure to take care of all of us, you know? I can whine all day about how there's no communication with the higher-ups for me, because I'm a 350,000 sub channel, and that's not big enough to be a big deal. I don't make YouTube enough money for them to then spend money on helping me with my problems, which are constant because of the, you know, the content ID issues and stuff like that, or demonetization. So, like, YouTube just doesn't have enough incentive to help out the little guys. And even with the bigger YouTubers, you know, you can tell YouTube did work with them for a long time. It used to be that YouTube was constantly promoting their bigger dudes, but, like, when, you know, PewDiePie says fucking nigger in a fucking video and then he loses all advertisers for everyone on YouTube because nobody wants to associate with that guy. And now me, because I just said it in a video, and now I will never have advertiser-friendly videos again. You know, like, you can't, like, it's not surprising that these guys don't want to be associated with this. You know, like, to them, it hurts their bottom line, and they'd rather just not be involved. And for YouTube, it's like, well, fuck, if we can't make money off of our biggest draw, then who can we make money off of, you know? Now, YouTube, because it has such a huge audience and it's taking audience away from TV, all the TV people want to be on YouTube now. And there's a short-sightedness to this, to supporting the TV channels, because as I was saying in my previous video about how long can we justify uploading to YouTube, I do think that most people come to YouTube for, you know, YouTube creators. Most people are not here to watch every episode of Stephen Colbert. But, you know, YouTube can make so much more money off of Stephen Colbert that of course they're going to go in his boat because they've been losing money all this time on content creators. It's not working. The system's not working that they had set up initially. And they've clearly just given up on it, and they need the money from these other companies, you know? Now, the short-sighted part is that if all the YouTubers leave, then the audience will follow them, assumably. You know, I don't know if YouTube will retain enough viewers that these companies will still make enough money from YouTube to justify giving YouTube all the money they're giving them, you know? And that all has to do with the nature of old media, which is to throw shitloads of money around constantly with no regard for anything. You know, like, old media has always been horribly broken in that regard. Like, everything is so expensive, and so much money gets thrown around that failures are massive. Everything's a high risk, you know? And that's just the way it's always operated. If you listen to people, like, listen to Max Landis talk about Hollywood at all, it's always fun to hear him, like, give you a little bit of, like, the inside scoop of the mentality of people in that industry, and it's fucking insane, the amount of money that gets thrown around randomly. Meanwhile, YouTubers have always been small, you know, independent businesses, and, like, we don't make a whole lot of money, and we don't spend a whole lot of money on YouTube, you know? And, like, I just don't think that this model has been sustainable for YouTube. To have the sheer amount of great infrastructure they have has obviously torn them apart. It costs a lot of money to let everybody upload as much as they fucking want, you know? It costs them advertisers to let people say whatever they want to say on the website. So, like, yeah, from their perspective, this makes perfect sense. What I think's gonna happen is not that we'll find a replacement YouTube. YouTube didn't work, and it will not work. I don't think just building a new version of the Tower of Babel that's falling down is going to make it some, like, oh, this time it'll work fine. Because these problems are all indicative of, like, the issue that YouTube's had all along. You know, like, if this had worked, if YouTube had been in the black all this time, if they'd been reporting that they were making shitloads of money off of YouTube, of course they'd be defending the content creators. Of course they'd be, you know, they wouldn't have a reason to take all this old Hollywood shit onto their website, but they're not. They're not succeeding, according to themselves, and they've always been saying that. They've said that it has never reported earnings. You know, it's always been at a loss. So, at some point, the bubble's got to burst. You know, like, the investors have to say this was a failed investment. They have to go, we can't do this anymore. And, you know, we all want this to be a revolution. Like, you listen to, like, Casey Neistat, how he talks about YouTube, and it's like this revolution of anyone can have a career here, anyone can make it as long as you've got a cell phone and an idea, you know? But there's a reason it wasn't like that before. Because it wasn't sustainable before. Because not every idea is a good idea. Not every idea is going to make anybody money. You know, if you come out and you're a controversial figure and nobody wants to associate with you, you're not going to make any money. Unless you can get the people who are on your side to give you money. Which means that you would need either targeted advertisers, advertisers who want to be associated with your brand, which means they're going to be extremely niche, or you're just going to need people who want you to exist to pay you to exist, you know? And I think there's this weird, I don't want to say it's entitlement that YouTubers have, where there's this, like, argument that, you know, this is our career, and YouTube's putting people's lives and careers in jeopardy by making these decisions. But, like, that's the risk you kind of take every time you get a job. Like, what if your company goes under? I'm living in Rochester right now. This town was built on the back of Kodak. There's a huge Kodak factory right in the middle of town, and there's all this shit, like, all this Kodak-related stuff everywhere. But Kodak is basically dead. Like, Kodak it was huge at a time because they made film stock. Like, that was what they did. They made, like, they made, you know, they made old school film. And no one uses it anymore. Everyone went digital. Kodak didn't go digital fast enough. They you know, I mean, how could they predict the future? They don't know if they're making the right move. They thought people would still want to use film even after digital came out. They were wrong. They took the wrong bet. They were too late to change to digital, and now they're fucked. And this town is dead now. Rochester is not a growing city. It's as big as it is because there were jobs because of Kodak. And Xerox, for that matter, which, you know, met the same fate. So, these big companies not being there anymore, everyone's migrating away from Rochester. They're not going to go to another Kodak. Kodak's irrelevant. It didn't work. The company's gone. The technology changed, and it's not a business that can succeed anymore. So, they just got to go find somewhere. You know, they got to go somewhere where there's jobs, figure out what the new job is, you know? This is what's happening to YouTubers. And like, when I said how long can we justify uploading to YouTube, I need people to understand that this is not a matter of like, let's take our videos somewhere that's as good. It's like YouTube's essentially worthless for a lot of people now. Like, it doesn't matter how many views you get if you're not making any money. You know, like, that's the only reason to have the views in the first place. I was inspired to make this video because of a podcast called Feeding the Content Machine, in which two of my fans do podcasts about my content every week or so. It's highly enjoyable for me. And they were talking about how much of my audience would follow me if I left YouTube. Like, if I started uploading to VidMe, you know, am I going to retain my audience? And they were like, you know, your patrons will probably follow you, but I don't think your 350,000 subscribers on Digibro will follow you. I don't need them. That's the thing. I don't need those subscribers, because the reason you want a whole lot of subscribers is because it's more guaranteed views. Because the views are what matters. You know, the views matter because that's how many people are clicking on the ads or seeing the ads. So if you get 100,000 views on a video, you probably made about $100 on the ads. If you get 100,000 views on a video and there are no ads running on it, you made nothing. You could have just as easily got 10,000 views or 2 views. It doesn't matter. It's not increasing how much money you make. Now, there is another positive to having reach, which is that more reach can lead to more patrons if you're making money that way, which I am. You know, I've never really relied on ad revenue because that ship sailed for me early on. When I first started becoming a professional YouTuber, I made $600 a month on ads for 2 months, and then all of my videos were flagged for copyright. And I couldn't make money anymore. And it was only because of Patreon coming along at, like, right at that time that I was able to, you know, encourage my fans to help support me. But this will not work for everybody, because not everybody has a kind of content that people actually want to pay for. And for those people, like, you're just kind of fucked. Like, you can't, you know, this is not a world where you can just do whatever you want and it just works. And I've seen it happen to YouTubers where, like, a sad case I always like to bring up is Dame Drops. He is a fast food reviewer whose thing is he would go eat fast food in his car and give it a simple review. And the videos are entertaining, but he could not survive on Patreon. And he tried. He tried to make a Patreon. He got, like, nothing. Nothing. Because his content, while fun, was not meaningful to people. It was not something people wanted to put down money for. If Dame Drops had disappeared from YouTube, it wouldn't have been that big a deal to a lot of people. It's just content you kind of enjoy because it's there, but if it wasn't there, you wouldn't cry, you know? Because it's just incredibly simplistic. It's just a guy going and eating a fucking taco and giving it a very rudimentary review, you know? Literally anybody could do it. It's just funny because he's doing it, and he's kind of a fun personality, but at the same time, not that much, you know? So a guy like him, if he can't make ad revenue anymore and he can't make Patreon, he's just gone. And that's totally fair, because YouTube, again, this platform that they gave us has been operating at a loss. They have no reason to keep giving it to us. You know, like, it's not helping them to just allow, like, just give us a career for free, you know, at no benefit to them. So, you know, in the long run, it's like, yeah, these guys they're just not going to have anywhere to go. We're not going to have a YouTube 2.0. It didn't work. It's going to be people who can survive going and finding a way to survive. A lot of channels will just be fucked. You know, a lot of content that people don't think is worth money won't be able to make money. And that's going to be, in many ways, a beautiful thing, because all these drama channels that everyone hates, all these algorithm gaming channels, all these people who make 15-minute content with 3 ad breaks in it that everyone complains about because it's all homogenized bullshit and the only reason people watch it is because it happens to be recommended to you on the homepage, all of that will fucking die. Because those guys say fuck a couple too many times in a video, and they don't have monetization, and there's no reason for them to do it anymore. And nobody's gonna back that shit on Patreon unless they're, like, strongly on their side. Which, a lot of these channels, no one's on their side. You know, like, that's the reason. Like, they exist because they generate drama, and people want to see what's causing the drama. But then, if nobody's on their side, they can't make money, you know? And where will they go? Where will they go once they have to rely on making way less on Patreon than they were making from ad revenue, because their videos were dependent on being incendiary and getting shared around a lot and getting promoted by YouTube's algorithm? If they can't make that money anymore, they just have to evaporate. And then, on the other side of the coin, people like me, who have hamstrung ourselves by trying to be successful on YouTube, can go and finally stop worrying about trying to play into the algorithm and just do whatever the fuck we want, you know? Which we should have done all along. YouTube was a tempting, a sinful, tempting apple, you know, that tells you, hey, I know you're making a comfortable living right now and you've got lots of fans who love you, but if you just make a video about this brand new show everyone's talking about and you can somehow string it out to 15 minutes, you'll make twice as much money this month. And you have to go, oh, fuck, I need twice as much money. I should bite right into that shit, you know? But if that option's not there anymore, then it's like, well, fuck. Why am I trying to appeal to a broad audience if it won't help me? If it's not going to give me anything more than what I'm going to make by making whatever the fuck I want, because I'm being paid by my fans who just want to see my original ideas. They don't really care about it being packaged for mass consumption, you know? So, in many ways, I'm almost welcoming this. I'm kind of welcoming the end. And the biggest thing I'll miss, and I'll still use YouTube, even if it becomes not viable, the reason I'll use it is because I can upload infinite video, you know, like, I can upload fucking hours of shit every day, because that's my content style, you know? I can't do that on a lot of websites. There's a lot of places that the file sizes I have would not be accepted on. So, like, YouTube will always be great for me as a platform to post my videos, but not how I make my money. You know, like, I'll just use it as, like, until they take it away from me, you know, but, like, I don't need the ad revenue on YouTube. I just post my videos there so that they have a place. But if I don't have to only post them on YouTube, because that's the only way to attract enough eyeballs to justify the videos, then fuck it. I'll upload it to, I can do something that couldn't exist on YouTube and upload it to VidMe. I have a video on VidMe. If you don't know, I have a VidMe. I'll link it in the description. And I first developed it because I was getting fucked by copyright on YouTube. You know, I think my channel was outright taken down while I was making the K-On! Perfect adaptation video. The video was my channel was completely removed. So I uploaded it to VidMe first. And then I later uploaded it to YouTube. And it still got hit with a copyright thing, but I fought it and now it's alive on YouTube. Same goes with my Trigun video that was not long afterwards. But later, I uploaded a video that was me and Best Guy Ever reacting to episode 9 of Eromanga Sensei. And this video is almost full screen footage of the show with us in a little thing in the top right corner. That video would have been pulled from YouTube immediately, and if I posted it on Google Drive, it would have been removed eventually. Because Google Drive does remove videos. They have a content system, a content ID system. It's just not, like, super frequent. It seems to be when you watch a video enough times, they start paying attention to it. Because I have a lot of shit on my Google Drive for fans. I have, if you're a patron, I have a blocked and unreleased video archive that is a Google Drive, you know, folder full of videos that were removed from YouTube. And some of those videos are now removed from Google Drive as well. But that Eromanga Sensei video has been on VidMe for months. Because VidMe's whole platform is that you can upload whatever the fuck you want there and they don't care. You know, they will let you upload stuff and they will protect the content creator. And they probably won't ever be as big as YouTube. Their system probably won't ever make a whole ton of sense, and maybe they'll die, maybe they'll evaporate. But right now, I can post stuff on there I can't post on YouTube. And the only reason I won't make stuff that I can't post on YouTube is because I can't justify it if it's not going to get views and bring in new fans, new patrons, new stuff like that. But if there is no justification for posting on YouTube, then fuck doing content for YouTube. I'll just do whatever I want, upload it to VidMe. and my patrons and fans can find it. You know, that's what the old internet was you had people who made something that was talked about, and then people who wanted to be fans of that guy just found him, went to his website. Angry Video Game Nerd, I didn't find out about him through YouTube algorithms. I went to his website, which had way more personality, you know, than a YouTube channel does. And it was a much more engaging experience in that regard. And I think we could get back to that. And I'm excited to get back to that. I've talked about, you know, how I want to get back to that. So yeah, I don't think we're going to get a replacement YouTube. I think YouTube will, in some ways, die. It's not going to die completely. It's still going to be around. But the idea of being an ad revenue supported channel on YouTube is going to wither away. And either you're good enough that people will patron you, or you get corporate enough that you can get your own sponsors, or there's just not a platform for you anymore. And, I mean, that's how it's always been. Most people have never had a platform. And if this means the death of content that is generated solely for the purpose of gaming the YouTube algorithm, I will welcome that. And that's it.